Hola clase, in this video I'm going to talk about articles and nouns, but especially about articles and the two types of articles. So, article and noun agreement. What is this agreement thing? It just means that when you have a noun and you have an article in front of it, you need to make them agree. So let's see. Articles and nouns, and I'll tell you what they are, but they agree in number and gender. That means that they agree. Like in number, like if they are singular, if a noun is singular, the article needs to be singular. If a noun is plural, the article needs to be plural. Same thing with gender. If a noun is feminine, the article needs to be feminine. If a noun is masculine, the article needs to be masculine. Now, this means that when you have the article like the, and then that's an article, and then a noun like book, they will have to agree in that way. Like el libro, the book. Libro is masculine and it's also singular. So you will see that this is going to be singular and masculine too. Masculine is el and singular. We'll talk about the articles in a little bit, but articles also precede nouns. So they go in front of the noun. This is a noun, libro, book, and you have an article right here, the book. You have another noun, mesa, table, and you have an article in front of it, la. You have a noun, cuaderno, notebook, and this is the article, el. Amigos is a noun, it's plural. Amigos is more than one, it's not just amigo. You probably know this word, friend, or friends in this case. And then you have los, and it's to be plural because this is plural, you'll see. And then chicas, girls, it goes with an article in front of it too. And that's usually how it goes. So, there are two types of articles, okay? Definite articles and indefinite articles. I'll tell you what it is in English and then I'll tell you what they are in Spanish. So, in English, the definite article that you guys have is the. And in English also, the indefinite article is going to be either a or an or some. And I'll give you some examples, you'll see. So what's the difference first? What's the difference between a definite article, or what is it, and an indefinite article? What's the difference between the and a? Maybe you already know, but I'll tell you in a second. So the definite article, and once I give you the example, you'll understand, but the definite article is more specific. It's known by the person who's talking, usually, or the person who's listening, you'll see. And this one, the indefinite articles are not specific. They're not known. Now, like I said, you understand with this example. So let's say that you're talking to your friend and you say, I'm going to buy the house. If you tell your friend, I'm going to buy the house, your friend knows probably the house that you're talking about because it's like, oh, I'm going to buy the house. And let's compare it with this sentence, this other sentence. Oh, I'm going to buy a house. If you tell your friend, I'm going to buy a house, he'll be like, oh, okay. But he doesn't know what house you're going to buy. But if you say, I'm going to buy the house, it's because you already told this friend about this specific house and you both know what house you're talking about. It's the same with any examples that you can do. Like, I'm going to buy the book. You know that it's a specific book. But if you say I'm going to buy a book, it's like, well, I'm going to buy a book, but you don't know which one. So that is how it works in English. And it's pretty much the same in Spanish. You're going to have the definite article the in English and this in English also, a, an, or some, that's the indefinite. And how, like, what are the words that we use for these articles in Spanish? Well, let's see. We have them right here, okay? So let's see. For the English article the, when you're saying the book, remember the example before? We're going to have for the. So for the, you can say either el or la or los or las. If a word, remember that we said before, if a noun is masculine and singular, you're going to use this one, the book. If a noun, it all depends on the noun. Whatever it goes with, it will have to agree. You'll have to choose one of these to make it match, to match whatever noun it goes with. Let's say amigos, remember? Los amigos, the friends. So if you have a noun that is masculine and plural, you're going to use this one. If the noun is feminine and plural, you'll be using this one. If the noun is masculine and singular, libro, you'll be using this. And if it's feminine and singular, you'll be using this one. Okay, so now what about the indefinite articles? Every time you want to say, I need a book, I need some books. This in English will translate as one of these four. These are the indefinite articles in Spanish. So you could say un. So if you want to say, I'm going to buy a book, a house. So if you want to say a book, you'll be using this one, un libro, because libro is singular and masculine. Now, if you want to say, I'm going to buy a house, una casa. Casa is actually a feminine noun and singular. You're not saying casas. You will see that it's plural when you have an S at the end. But casa is singular. It's only one. So, una casa. Unos libros. When you say books, masculine and plural, more than one book, you're going to be using this. It will be some books. Unos libros. And then unas casas. Let's say some houses. If you use casas, it's feminine and it's plural. It's more than one house. It's houses. So you'll be using this one. Let's see some examples. Ejemplos. Some ejemplos. So let's see. If you have libro, let's say the same thing. Libro is masculine and it's singular. So we're using the masculine and singular one, el libro, to say the book. Remember, the is for any of this. This means the. This means the. This means the. And this means the. I know, it's the same thing. So mesa, it looks like it's feminine, right? So mesa is feminine and it's singular because it doesn't have an S at the end. So you go to the feminine and singular one is going to be la mesa, the table. What about ventanas? Ventanas is windows. There are a lot of windows in the class. Well, the windows is going to be feminine. You can see that it has an A, so it's going to be feminine, and it's plural. So las ventanas, look at the feminine plural one. And then cuadernos is a masculine noun and it's plural. So los cuadernos, the masculine and plural one. Let's use the same thing. Let's use the same nouns, but let's say that instead of the book, the table, the windows, we want to say a book, a table, some windows, and some notebooks. So we're going to have the same nouns, okay? But then the same things here. But then we're going to use these indefinite articles to be able to say a book. How do we say a book? We're going to use one of this since it's singular. In masculine, we have un libro, a book. Mesa, we have feminine and singular because it ends in A, it's going to be feminine. So una mesa. Ventanas, we have A and S, that means that it's feminine and it's plural. So we're going to be using this one, unas ventanas. And then cuadernos is masculine and plural. We're going to go for the masculine and plural one, which is unos. Unos cuadernos. What about papel? Sometimes you're going to have a noun that you don't really know if it's masculine or feminine. So you just don't know. You have to look it up or go to our textbook and look it up or go to the dictionary and it will tell you if it's F, feminine, or M, masculine. And once you know that it's masculine, then you'll be like, oh, papel. And it doesn't end in S. It doesn't end in S. So if it's papel, let's say masculine and singular. El papel, the paper. What if you want to say a paper, like one paper, and you want to use one of these? Well, same thing, masculine and singular. You could also say un papel, one paper, or a paper. Yeah, so just be careful with the ones that are not, that you cannot really tell if they're feminine or masculine. But that is everything. So that's all. Whenever you need to use the or any of the other articles, the indefinite ones, in a sentence, just make sure that you use one of the articles that we saw right before, and they have to agree with the noun so that they go with. And that's it for this video. Let me know if you have any questions, and yeah, done. Bye. Adios.